Have you ever wondered what secret hides in the color of your cat's coat? It's not just beauty, it's a map that reveals its genetics and clues about its personality. From the legend of the tabby pattern, the enigma of a calico cat, or the character of an orange or black cat. Join us today on MeowTube to decipher this hidden code in its coat and discover the fascinating story your feline tells you without saying a single word. Welcome to MeowTube, the channel for cat lovers. Part 1. The secret code in its coat, what your cat's color reveals. When you look at your feline companion, what exactly do you see? You may admire the elegance of its black coat, the warmth of its orange fur, or the mystery of its blue eyes in a completely white face. But what if I told you that that color, that pattern that attracts you so much, is much more than a simple aesthetic choice of nature? It is a map, a secret code that tells us a fascinating story about its genetics, its evolutionary history, and even, as many owners would swear, about its own personality. Your cat's coat is a living canvas, and on this journey we are going to learn to read it. Curiously, we are also part of this equation. Our brains are programmed to associate colors with ideas, black with mystery, orange with joy, white with calm. Without realizing it, we project these expectations onto them, creating a prophecy that sometimes seems to come true. So get ready, because we are going to decipher the enigma that hides in plain sight, revealing that the color of your cat is the first page of a biography written in the universal language of biology. To begin reading this code, we must travel to its origin, to the very genetic instruction manual of each feline. Now imagine that all the incredible variety of colors we see in cats is built from just two basic ingredients, two master pigments. The first is eumelanin, the dark ink of the feline world. In its purest and most concentrated form, it gives us the deepest black, but when genetics plays at diluting it, it creates sophisticated tones such as chocolate, cinnamon, or that elegant grey which experts call blue. The second ingredient is pheomelanin. Responsible for the warm palette, it is the spark that ignites vibrant reds, intense oranges, and soft cream colors. All the chromatic magic resides in how the genes mix, hide, or modify these two pigments. In this genetic orchestra, there is one gene that takes the lead, the black color gene. It is a dominant gene, which means it loves to make itself noticed. This is the simple reason why there are so many black cats, or cats with black spots in the world. Its gene is a king who does not easily yield his throne. But at the opposite extreme, there exists a gene with an almost absolute power, a true illusionist, the dominant white W gene. This gene acts as a master switch that turns off all other color genes. A cat that inherits the W gene will be pure white, an immaculate canvas, regardless of whether beneath that veil lies a genetic code to be tabby, black, or orange. It is a mystery hidden beneath a coat of snow. And speaking of mysteries, we arrive at one of the most beautiful and surprising genetic enigmas of the feline world: calico and tortoiseshell cats. The first and most important thing we must clarify is that calico and tortoiseshell are not breeds. They are a genetic work of art, a color pattern that can appear in cats of all kinds, from the most common mixed breed to the most aristocratic of Persians. Their secret, and the fascinating reason why almost all of them are female, is written in the sex chromosomes. Imagine that the X chromosome is the only one that can carry the recipe for orange color. Males, being XY, have only one X chromosome, so they can only have one recipe at a time. Either they are orange or they are not. But females, being XX, have two. And this is where the magic happens. They can inherit a recipe for orange on one X chromosome and a recipe for black on the other. During their development in the uterus in each of their cells, the body flips a coin and randomly deactivates one of the two X chromosomes. The result is a living mosaic. The areas where the X with the black recipe was activated will have black fur. The areas where the X with the orange recipe was activated will have orange fur. But what is the visual difference between them? It is simple: the intervention of white. Calico cats have well-defined patches of color separated by white patches like islands of color in a sea of snow. Tortoise shells, on the other hand, have orange and black intermingled, fused in a swirling pattern that is reminiscent of a tortoise shell. Of course, every rule has its exception. The male calico exists, the genetic unicorn of the feline world. This rarity, which occurs in 1 out of every 3,000 cases, is due to a chromosomal abnormality, XXY, known as Klinefelter syndrome. Those two X chromosomes give it the ability to display both colors, but this condition almost always renders it sterile, making it a beautiful accident of nature. If tricolor cats are a marvel of genetic complexity, the tabby pattern is the original design, the echo of the wild ancestors that every cat carries in its DNA. This is the oldest and most common pattern of all, the camouflage suit inherited from the African wildcat to blend into the brush and stalk its prey. The tabby gene is so powerful that, in reality, all cats are genetically tabby. In solid-colored cats, other genes work to conceal this pattern, but if you look closely, especially at a black kitten under bright light, you can often glimpse the ghost markings of its wild past. The unmistakable hallmark of a tabby is that mysterious M drawn on its forehead. Although its origin is purely genetic, a product of how pigment is distributed in the fur, this mark has inspired beautiful legends throughout history. In the Christian tradition, legend has it that a tabby cat curled up next to the baby Jesus in the manger to keep him warm. Grateful, the Virgin Mary stroked its forehead, leaving forever the initial of her name. In the Islamic world, legend surrounds the Prophet Muhammad, who felt a profound love for cats. It is said that his favorite cat, Muezza, saved him from a snake, and the Prophet, upon stroking it, left the mark of his name as a symbol of blessing. Beyond the myth, this ancestral pattern presents itself in 4 main styles. The classic tabby, with its broad swirls on the sides that look like small galaxies. The mackerel tabby, the most common, with its thin, vertical stripes like those of a miniature tiger. The spotted tabby, whose stripes break apart to form spots, giving it the appearance of a small leopard. And finally, the patched tabby, an artistic fusion where the patches of a tortoise-shell cat are, in turn, covered by the tabby pattern, creating one of the most complex and fascinating canvases in feline nature. Has the incredible genetics hidden in its coat surprised you? Well, this is just the beginning. In the second part, we will discover whether the color of your cat really defines its character. If you don't want to miss this journey into its personality, subscribe now and join us. Part 2. Feline Portraits, Personality and Curiosities of Each Color. We leave behind the language of chromosomes and genes to venture into the vibrant heart of our story, character. If genetics writes the code, its behavior is the poetry that manifests itself in day-to-day life. Now we will give a face and soul to those color patterns, exploring the feline portraits that have captivated humanity for centuries. Each hue seems to paint not only the coat, but also a sketch of the personality it harbors within. We will travel from the bold extroversion of the orange cat to the serene elegance of gray, discovering that in each color beats a universe of curiosities, myths, and surprising truths that define the unique essence of our companions. We begin our journey with the most radiant of felines, a small, living flame that seems to have trapped the rays of the sun in its coat, the orange cat. These cats, often called ginger or red, radiate an energy that transcends their color. Popular perception describes them almost unanimously as exceptionally friendly, extroverted, and affectionate beings. There is an audacity in their character, a confidence that drives them to seek interaction and to become the center of attention in the household. It is not unusual for their owners to describe them with a curious term, dog-like. This comparison, far from being an insult for a feline, alludes to a loyalty and sociability so pronounced that it often breaks with the stereotype of the distant and independent cat. The orange cat actively seeks company, greets at the door, follows its humans from room to room, and participates enthusiastically in family life. But what hides behind this vibrant coat? Here, genetics reveals one of its most fascinating surprises. Approximately 80% of all orange cats are male. The reason, as we saw, lies in the fact that the gene encoding orange color is linked to the X chromosome. A female needs to inherit this gene from both parents, one on each of her 2 X chromosomes, to be completely orange, a statistically less probable event. A male, on the other hand, only needs to inherit the gene from his mother on his single X chromosome. This overwhelming male majority could, according to some theories, influence that bold and expansive personality so characteristic of them. In addition to their overwhelming character, orange cats hold another peculiarity that reveals itself with time. They are prone to developing small black freckles on the nose, lips and eyelids as they age. This completely benign condition is known as lentigo and is the result of an increase in pigment-producing cells. These spots, far from being a defect, or add a unique charm to their face, like small constellations that narrate the passage of the years. Their photogenic quality and magnetic character have not gone unnoticed by popular culture. They are, without a doubt, the great stars of Hollywood, from the lazy and philosophical Garfield to the bold and charismatic Puss in Boots. The archetype of the orange cat as an endearing, brave, and lively character is deeply rooted in our collective imagination. From the warmth of the sun we move to the depth of the night. The black cat, a silhouette of elegance and mystery, is perhaps the most misunderstood of all felines. Wrapped in a coat that evokes magic, and the hidden, its true personality is often eclipsed by centuries of superstition. Contrary to the myths that surround it, the black cat is an exceptionally affectionate, playful, and unwaveringly loyal companion. They often establish an incredibly deep bond with one particular person, becoming their inseparable shadow. They are known for being very communicative, using a wide repertoire of meows and chirps to converse with their owners as if they were intent on tearing down the barriers of prejudice with their voice. Their coat, although it appears to be a solid and simple color, hides a curious fact that reveals its complexity. Under intense sunlight or due to certain nutritional deficiencies, their black coat can rust. This phenomenon occurs when eumelanin, the black pigment, is not produced at its maximum intensity, revealing underlying reddish or brown tones. A diet deficient in the amino acid tyrosine, essential for the production of eumelanin, can accentuate this color change. Far from being a defect, this rusting reminds us that even in the most absolute darkness there are always nuances of light, but the true secret of the black cat could reside in its very survival. Some studies suggest that the genetic mutations responsible for black coats could be associated with greater resistance to certain diseases, such as feline immunodeficiency virus, FIV. This link suggests that the natural selection of black coloration could have conferred an evolutionary advantage, making them born survivors. It is a bitter irony that the very color that perhaps strengthens them genetically is the cause of their misfortune at the hands of human superstition. The association of the black cat with witchcraft and bad luck, a myth rooted in medieval Europe, has condemned countless of these animals to persecution and abandonment. Even today, in the 21st century, black cats are the ones that take longest to be adopted in shelters, a tragic proof that prejudices can endure much longer than reason. Celebrating a black cat is not only welcoming a pet, it is an act of justice, a challenge to ignorance, and the opportunity to discover the infinite sweetness that hides in the most elegant of shadows. Now we pause before a canvas of purity, a being that seems sculpted in snow, the white cat. Its beauty is ethereal, almost aristocratic, and its personality often reflects this serene appearance. They are usually described as calm, gentle cats of a sweet temperament, although they can sometimes seem somewhat distant or reserved at first. It is not shyness, but rather a kind of regal caution. They need time to assess their surroundings and the people who inhabit it. However, once they place their trust, they reveal themselves as companions of a deep loyalty and affection, seeking the tranquility of a caress in a peaceful home. Behind their immaculate appearance hides one of the best-known and, at the same time, most misunderstood facts of feline genetics: the relationship between white coat, blue eyes, and deafness. This connection is real, but not absolute. The W gene, responsible for dominant white, can affect the cells of the cochlea in the inner ear, which are crucial for hearing. The probability of deafness is greater in white cats with 2 blue eyes, but many white cats with eyes of another color, golden green, or even with just 1 blue eye hear perfectly. It is essential not to assume that every white cat is deaf, but to evaluate each individual separately. This pristine beauty, however, all carries an inherent vulnerability. White coat lacks the pigment melanin, which acts as a natural protector against ultraviolet radiation. This means that their skin, especially in areas with less fur, such as the ears, nose, and eyelids, is extremely sensitive to the sun. White cats have a significantly higher risk of suffering sunburns and, in the long term, of developing squamous cell carcinomas, a form of skin cancer. Their caregivers must act as guardians of this delicate porcelain, providing shade and limiting direct sun exposure, ensuring that their dazzling beauty does not become a threat to their health. Finally, we arrive at the grey cat, or as it is known in feline breeding circles, the blue cat. Its coat, ranging from a light silver to a deep slate grey, evokes a feeling of calm and sophistication. This appearance is reflected perfectly in its personality. They are quiet cats, often reserved and incredibly observant. They are not the first to throw themselves into chaos or boisterous play. They prefer to find a strategic vantage point from which to study the world around them with a contemplative elegance. They are like silent philosophers whose company is subtle but constant and comforting. They appreciate peace and routine and thrive in homes where harmony reigns. The curious fact that accompanies these misty-coated felines is a blessing for many cat lovers. Certain breeds of this color, and in particular the iconic Russian blue, are famous for being considered hypoallergenic. The science behind this claim is fascinating. The main cause of cat allergies is not the fur itself, but a protein present in their saliva, skin, and urine. It has been shown that breeds such as the Russian blue produce significantly smaller amounts of this protein compared to other cats. Although no cat is 100% allergen-free, this reduction may be enough for people with mild sensitivities to share their lives with one of these elegant companions without suffering the consequences. The grey cat, with its peaceful nature and discreet charm, represents serenity and contained elegance, a haven of peace in the often chaotic world that surrounds us. Have you recognized your own cat's personality in any of these descriptions? If you enjoyed discovering the character hidden behind each color, show it with a good like. That way, we will know which feline portrait you liked most. Part 3. Bicolors and beyond, unique styles, and the human bond. Well, we have traveled through the genetic code and explored the personality portraits painted in a single color. Now, in the final act of our journey, we venture into the world of combined patterns, where nature mixes its palette to create truly iconic styles. They are the cats that dress for a gala, those that carry the exoticism of distant lands in their features, and those that invite us to one final reflection. To what extent is our choice of a feline companion a reflection of ourselves? We will close our journey with a crucial message, one that transcends any color or pattern and appeals directly to the heart, reminding us that the true beauty of a cat lies in its individuality and in the opportunity it gives us to offer it a home. We begin this final section with the most elegant feline of the spectrum. I'm the one that always seems ready for a gala event, the tuxedo cat. Its distinctive bicolor pattern with an impeccable black suit and white bib and gloves confers upon it an air of undeniable sophistication and charm. Its personality seems to live up to its outfit. They are known for being extraordinarily intelligent, astute, and with a wonderfully balanced character. They possess the perfect blend of feline independence and a deep affection for their humans, often displaying a bold curiosity and an extroverted nature that makes them the life of the household. But their history goes far beyond their refined appearance. Tuxedo cats have been protagonists of incredible feats, reaching absolutely unlikely places. A tuxedo named Felicette was the first and only cat to travel to space in 1963. Another, named Simon, was a decorated war hero aboard a British vessel for protecting supplies from rats during a long siege. They have inhabited the White House like Socks, the famous cat of the Clinton family, and it is even said that one was taken, in its owner's arms of course, to the summit of Mount Everest. Their hallmarks are unmistakable. Their whiskers, often a brilliant white, contrast spectacularly with their black face, and their eyes, generally an emerald green or an intense gold, shine with a spark of intelligence and mischief. The tuxedo cat is proof that one can be at once formal and tremendously fun. From classic Western elegance, we travel to an exoticism that evokes the ancient temples of Siam. We are talking about cats with a pointed pattern, whose greatest exponent is the Siamese. Well, with this pattern is a marvel of genetic thermoregulation. These cats are born completely white or cream and develop their dark coloration on the coldest extremities of the body, the face, ears, legs, and tail. The gene responsible for this effect is a temperature-sensitive form of albinism. It only activates and produces pigment in areas where body temperature is slightly lower. It is literally a living heat map. Their personality is as intense and distinctive as their appearance. They are extremely sociable cats, almost to the point of emotional dependence. They are not a pet for someone seeking a quiet and distant companion. The Siamese demands to be the center of its human's universe, forming incredibly strong and deep bonds. Its most notable trait is its voice. They are incredibly vocal, capable of producing an astonishing range of sounds to express each of their thoughts, desires, and complaints. Conversing with a Siamese is a daily experience, a constant dialogue that fills the house with life and sometimes with very entertaining drama. They need constant stimulation, play, and affection to be happy, and they will return that dedication with a loyalty and an affection that few other cats can match. And so, after exploring this mosaic of colors and personalities, we arrive at the final question, one that turns our gaze back to ourselves. What does the color of your cat say about you? Although the choice of a pet may seem casual, it is often a subconscious act, a reflection in the mirror of our own emotional needs or of the personality we admire. Those who choose to adopt a black cat, for example, are usually people who do not let themselves be swayed by appearances or superstitions. They value depth, the elegance of the subtle, and are capable of seeing beauty where others see only darkness. They tend to be independent individuals, perhaps a little introverted, who appreciate a loyal and unassuming bond. On the other hand, owners of orange cats are often extroverted, warm people who seek a constant source of joy and affection in their lives. They are drawn to that vibrant energy and that overflowing sociability, seeking a companion who participates actively in family life and fills the home with laughter. Those who opt for a white cat often seek calm, harmony, and a sense of serenity. They may be people who value peace, aesthetic beauty, and who find comfort in the gentle and tranquil presence of their pet. This choice is not an exact science, of course, but it invites us to think about the invisible connection that unites us to them, a bond that begins long before we bring them home. And so we reach the end of our journey, having deciphered the secret code hidden in the feline coat. We have seen that while genetics can trace fascinating tendencies that associate a color with a character trait, the ultimate truth is that every cat is a unique individual. Its personality is an unrepeatable mosaic, a complex work of art shaped not only by its genes, but also by its experiences, its environment, and the love it receives from its human family. Color is only the first chapter of its story, not its destiny. And it is for this reason that our final message must be a call to action. Include a fundamental reminder for anyone who is thinking of opening their home to a feline. Adopt responsibly, look beyond color and preconceived ideas. In shelters, thousands of cats of all colors and patterns await a second chance. Tragically, black cats are usually the last to be chosen, silent victims of an ancestral prejudice that has no place in our world. Each one of them, regardless of whether their coat is black, white, orange, or tabby, deserves the security and warmth of a home. Because in the end, the best color for a cat is simply the color of being adopted. In short, every cat is a unique universe, and its true color is the unconditional love it gives us. We would love for you to share in the comments that quirk or special trait that defines your feline companion beyond its coat. If you want to keep exploring the fascinating world of cats, subscribe to MeowTube so you don't miss any adventure. Thank you for being part of this great feline family. If this journey has fascinated you, join us to reveal the next great mystery of the feline kingdom.